introduce next speaker, Dr. Najeeb Ullah, a former member of the Science and Technology. Will discuss CPEC Phase 2 and socio-economic development through technological advancements. So please welcome Dr. Najeeb Ullah.
Well, indeed, it's an honor to be here after a very long time. IT sector. Luckily, recently got my executive MBA, second degree from University of Cambridge, and I was the caretaker minister of science and technology at KEP, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and would love to share the missing links of the innovation. We always talk about innovation, we always talk about technology transfer. It might be some harsh realities. You have the Honorable Governor KEP, the Chancellor, so I think it's the right time to share the harsh realities. So let me go for the next slide. Whenever I talk about, next slide please. Yes, so whenever I talk about innovation, that's my first slide always. Neoclassical growth model is very important. And according to the neoclassical growth model, there are three components. A, the K, and the L. A means the knowledge part. A means the higher education. A means the IT. A means the hidden part which you might not see. It's not the infrastructure. So according to this model, if you invest in the knowledge, there will be growth. The second part is the K. K means the FDI, the foreign direct investment, the capital. If there is the capital, there will be growth. And then the third and the last one is the L, that's the skilled labor. One liner, if you have three components, the education, the quality higher education, the IT, the hidden part, the capital, the K, and the skilled labor, we can expect the growth. And if one of the part is missing, forget about innovation, forget about economic growth. That's his statement, not my statement. Moving on. The MIT, one of the best universities of the world, they say the innovation ecosystem has 5 components rather than 3. And these 5 components are the universities, then the government, then the private corporate sector. These were called the emerging triple helix model. Now they have added 2 more. One is the capital landscape. It's very important, completely harsh reality, completely missing in Pakistan. And then along with this one, the mindset, the entrepreneurs. If you have these 5 components, there will be the knowledge-based economy, there will be the innovation, there will be the economic growth. So I would like to talk about these 5 components today. And now, let me tell you where we stand in the innovation. Innovation की बात तो बहुत करते हैं, लेकिन आपको मैं situation बता दूं. We are in the 88th position in the world. And that's not me again, that's the global innovation ranking position by GII. Now let me tell you again, whenever we talk about innovation, innovation is not one component. Innovation are the 5 components. And these are all cross-linked. Ek link ka hata le, forget about again innovation and economic growth. And these are called, according to the GII, these are called the innovation inputs. What are these 5? The first one is the institution. And these institutions are the political environment, the stability, these are the regulatory environment, and these are the business environment. If these are there, things will grow. The second one, it's called the human capital and research education. As I mentioned, the tertiary education, the higher education. And along with this one, it's covered with the R&D model. The next one is the infrastructure, the ICT. And then the fourth one is the market sophistication, the capital, the investment. And then the last one is the business sophistication, the knowledge work. Again, as I mentioned, that's basically the skilled labor. And then basically there are 2 outputs. Now sometime when we see Pakistan and when we see these numbers, you might not know. You might see these numbers for the first time. It's really alarming. And see, the first thing is the expenditure on the education. Again, GII. According to this data, it's only 2%. Baki countries, it's almost 6%, 5.5 in the region. I'm talking about India. 4%. So that's why always you see look at them, it should be 4% for the education. So that's the recommendation, that rather than the 2%, it should be 4%. See the missing links now. That's the government part. That's not me. That's not universities. The second one, this one, the gross expenditure on the R&D is very important. See now, this is only 0.164. And again, when I was at the private company, it was very alarming, 0.064%. Nothing. So what we say and what we recommend that it should be at least 1%. The leading in the world, my bad example, Israel is 6%. They invest 6% on R&D, and we just 0.16%. See, these are the figures. Next one. The next one is, I think, the financial startup. In some of the cases, we are good. Like, I will say Ignite, one of the ICT link, and they have done very well, I mean, relatively well, so they have actually awarded some of the grants. That's the good one. But let's see the ICT, as I mentioned, is one of the very important parameters. We are globally at 113 position. Out of 132, we are at the bottom. So we have to rectify the ICT infrastructure, the investment, the internet speed, the internet access. And then basically what we see is actually the venture capital fund. Nowadays, people don't believe in the banking system, the classical bank system in Pakistan, 99%. I will share with you what are the new landscapes for the venture capitalism, the private equity funds, and all of these funds completely missing. And you can see here, it's nothing, 0.00081% of the GDP. And then basically, it's the knowledge employment. We are at the 102 position in the technical employment. It means we don't need engineers, because we don't have the technical private corporate sector. So that's why basically, that's very alarming. Unless and until we see in the all dimensions, things will be missing. Because if you are producing engineers, and if there is no technical need for the corporate tech enterprises, this is where we are today. So it should be two-way traffic. Now talking about the outputs. And in the output, I think we are at the 43 position, that's the H index. Because of the higher education from since 2002, they've invested a lot. And I think that's one of the good positions. We are ranked at 43 position. But what is the impact of this H index? What is the impact of this research? Sorry, not very good. And then it's the unicorn. Unicorn means $1 billion companies. See, zero. We have a single unicorn company in Pakistan. There isn't any tech company which has raised to the unicorn level to the $1 billion company. And I will share with you where actually my companies, I'm placed at Cambridge right now. I will tell you how many companies, how many one universities have been created, how many unicorns have been created by one university. So that's basically the first one, the capital landscape. It's very important to know. There are basically these four levels. One is the concept level of the product. The second one is the development, then the pre-commercialization, early commercialization, and then the scale, the big companies, $1 billion. And you need different level of investment. This, in Pakistan, we are only this part, that's the ground. That's the only part. And then see, we don't have the engines. Even in the framework, legal framework, there is no, sorry, might be, but I can say this is none with comparison to UK and America. And then the venture capital fund, I have the venture capital, it's almost zero in Pakistan. And then we don't have the big investment, the private equity fund. And then we don't have the loans for the innovation as it is in UK and America. So we have only one part, the small part of the ground, and that's, we're always talking about the concept, nothing is coming out. Unless and until we transform the capital landscape, and that should be at the strategic level of the country or at the province, we will not move. So that's the first harsh reality, we have to change it. Let me tell you the figures. In UK, it's 29.4 billion pounds, the private equity and the venture capital funds. And then so on, and see the red zone in Pakistan, it's only $74 million. So no comparison at all. That's the landscape. And then, as I mentioned, how many unicorns have been created by only 3 universities in the world? In UK, sorry. It's Cambridge, the Oxford, and the London, and they have created 122 unicorns. When I was the member, we created the first venture capital fund, and thanks God it's moving. Very small amount, 3 billion Pakistan rupees, but it is moving. I have very short time, so I will be quick. And then actually, the government responsibilities. आप हैरान होंगे, Apple एक company है, $3 trillion economy है, Apple की company. The second company, Microsoft, $2.8 trillion company. किसी को पता है कि पाकिस्तान की total economy कितनी? The Pakistan total economy is 0.34 trillion. मैं दोबारा कहूँगा, पाकिस्तान की total economy 0.34 trillion dollar economy है. एक एप्पल की कंपनी $3 trillion economy. That's the comparison. क्यों अमेरिका ने $1 trillion कंपनीज बनाए हैं, पाकिस्तान में नहीं है? That's the missing part. No trust, no access to the decision makers, no asset to the markets, no contract enforcement. Contract करने कौन देखता है? अदालत में 100 साल में फैसला हो. So that's the innovation linked. Innovation ऐसा नहीं है कि आप यूनिवर्सिटी के प्रोफेसर को बिठाएंगे innovation कर. No, that's not the story. I think if I can have only 2 slides, only 3. UK ने क्या कर लिया? That's the Innovate UK. इन्होंने catapults बना लिए innovation के लिए. These are the links. उन्होंने कहा कि हमें 9 चीजों की जरूरत है. आप किसी भी catapult में जाएं, if you want to make something from A to Z, complete value chain. And not only manufacturing, you can test and certify things. You can say कि मेरा जो product है किसी level पे, and that's what we need. Next, उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे 8 parameters हैं, we need only 5 things. We don't need 10 things. We need only 5. AI, engineering, biology, semiconductor, quantum technology, the emerging quantum technology. The last slide, right? South Korea ने क्या किया? I wish मैं China और इसकी example देता. Last slide. South Korea ने कहा, we don't believe in innovation in 1940, and see that was what was happening. Already realized, yeah, no, without innovation we can't move. They started imitation. Imitation is copying something. नकल कर. नकल के बाद उन्होंने थोड़ा सा एडवांस कॉपी करना शुरू किया. जब इस स्टेज पे पहुंचे, that was back like in 1980ish. उन्होंने रियलाइज किया, बाकी कब अमेरिका ने रियलाइज किया कि तो हमसे आगे जा रहा है. उन्होंने इस पे टैक्स, उनका जो लाइसेंस होता है, एग्रीमेंट लाइसेंस, इसको इतना बढ़ाया. उन्होंने कहा आप क्यों कमाएंगे? जो 25%. लीडरशिप ने कहा, oh my God, we should stop the copying thing, and they immediately started. See, in 1980 they started what is called import substitution. They said no more imports, and technically it's called the techno-nationalism approach. That's how economies are developed. That's how countries are developed. Very sorry, I had 3 or more slides there, but very short time. See you next time. Have a good day.